All right. There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I am DDO's community manager, Cordovan, and I'll be with you for the next hour, hanging out and running some Salt Marsh. That's what's going to be up with me today, along with the latest Q&A. I can tell you a little bit about what's going on in the short term here. We did have a patch today, so perhaps I'll quick skim through the release notes to make sure everyone's up to date as to what is going on. And I don't know. Otherwise, it's mostly just going to be celebrating Saltmarsh and hanging out and running some quests. I did want to say that I had a plan earlier today, and actually the reason I'm a couple minutes late is I've been playing this character, which happens to be Gmogalon Thelanis, for a long time. The reason is that it's kind of my main, and so I'm very comfortable playing this character, and you tend to want to gravitate, maybe when you're on the under the spotlight like this, to maybe play a character you're really comfortable with. But I've gotten a little lazy on playing on other servers with other characters. So I wanted to go and get that done today, but I was popping over to the other characters I've got that are on the high epics and that, and on Wayfinder I'm still level 28, and I don't yet have my Sentient Gem hooked up. On Thelanis, I had a character that's level 30, Beanie, that I've been playing quite a bit, but that person ended up having all their Twists of Fate reset a while back, and I had never gone through the process to update that, so I didn't have time to do that before the stream. And so I just kind of ended up back on Thelanis here for today's show, but I want to mention in the future, I'm going to be popping to some of the other worlds. Most specifically, I would think Sarlona and Wayfinder in the near future. And I want to hit up Argonescent and all the game worlds, really, again. It's been a while since I've done a rotation through all the game worlds, so I'm going to be doing that in the near future. It was going to be this week, but alas, it was not to be. So, that's a little bit about what's going on gameplay-wise. Let me just pop over, get you the bonus right off the bat here, if I can find it. Let's see what we've got. What day is it today? Today is the 18th. It is the 18th, yeah. We do have the... Oh, I don't have a bonus yet written down, unfortunately. We're gonna have to sort through that again. I had heard, I remember from last week... Excuse me, I've got something in my eye. Piece of hair or something. I had heard last week you guys wanted us to bring back the Mysterious Remnants vendor items. Is that correct in particular? That some folks would like us to see that back? We could perhaps do that. Yeah, 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, that we have not. Well, what happened is we've got some shifting responsibilities going on. We brought on a new person in the marketing department. I guess it's been honestly a month or so now. And that person is ramping up on some of the tasks, and other people are moving on to other things. And one of the casualties of it, unfortunately, is that the bonus calendar has gotten kind of lax. So we're sort of calling audibles at the last minute here for a second week in a row. But yeah, if the chat room's vote is Mysterious Remnant special items, that sounds pretty good to me, and it's been a while since we did that. So I'll see if that's what ends up happening here. We'll see. Buddy bonus we just did this past weekend. So otherwise, maybe that would be a good one too. Otherwise, let me just quick kind of scroll through the latest news here just to make sure everyone's up to date. And I don't have a lot of news really to bring to you at the start of the show here today. I can talk a little bit about what we have going on with the Players Council, because they're seeing the full slate, I believe, of Epic Destinies at this point. As of really just a couple of days ago, at least I think it's pretty close to the full slate, if it's not the full slate. But we also did have a release today, some changes to Horizon Walker, some bug fixes, which is really what Update 50 Patch 2 was about. So No Step Missed now has a higher chance of regenerating a charge on Vorpal. Banish the Quarry now properly attempts to banish extraplanar creatures. Corner the Quarry now has its intended 20-second cooldown. Guidance now uses its unique cooldown. Bonuses to marking from the 5th core dimension door now apply properly. Coup de Grace DC now works like it should. Shifter, Razor Claw shifters, favored enemy enhancements now grant their associated favored enemy feats. They weren't properly doing that with the release of Update 50 here. And Knight of the Chalice, Adept Combatant now properly adds Warhammer and Heavy Mace as a favored weapon. So if you're an Adept Combatant who likes your Warhammers, good news for you. Holy Combatant also now properly adds Greatsword as a favored weapon. Sacred Defender. Paladin's Tier 5 Divine Revelation now provides its missing 1 spell resistance. No longer provides additional unintended bonus items. So this, unfortunately, I don't have the granularity as to what this means. This is how the change list came to me. Sorry about that. Several small item bugs have been fixed. I don't know what that means either, to be honest. Sorry. Several typos got fixed throughout, like, say, the crafting system. The legendary Sword of Shadow cosmetic version now has a yellow border, and its recipe has more specific text. Its recipe wasn't, I think, clarifying it was a cosmetic. But it is. After acquiring a feat, enhancement, or destiny ability that grants a new favored weapon, you no longer need to unequip and then re-equip in your main hand weapon for it to be properly recognized as a favored weapon. That's a bug that cropped up with Update 50. Players can now trade 250 Threads of Fate for a Soul Vessel. Just as a reminder for those who aren't familiar with it, you open the Threads of Fate barter window by double-clicking on Threads of Fate in your inventory. Saltmarsh throwing weapons now fly correctly. Newly made cosmetics, newly made only, unfortunately, but newly made cosmetics of the Shadow Scale outfit will now display their proper appearance. You can also upgrade the Volcurum fighting leathers. Non-cosmetic docents are now showing their jumpsuit appearance layer. More of them. There were some that were still... We're kind of playing whack-a-mole on that one, unfortunately. Minor thing, display issue with the tooltip for the Lizard Folk Sentient Jewel. And the amount of Quartermaster chips that dropped from 1 to 1d2 plus 1. Which will mean that players earn them at double to triple the rate they did before. This is for the Quartermaster's chits. You were getting 1, now you'll get 1d2 plus 1. So, more. More is better. Monsters. More monsters encountered underwater will now gradually sink. There was, in Saltmarsh, one of these dungeons in particular, they've been kind of hanging up on the ceiling a little weirdly. So now they're just forced to sink down. Nightmares are no longer immune to cold. Monsters have had their token fragment drops restored. In the Sansaminic Terran, Zawabi's Revenge now consistently drops Sans runes, and the correct number of Sans runes on each difficulty. Epic Elite Zawabi's Revenge has had its chance at named items raised to be consistent with most other Epic Elite content. Fix an issue where some obsolete ingredients, some of the old Scroll Seal Shard ingredients, were still dropping in a few places. Over in the Saltmarsh side of things, at Danger at Dunwater, we no longer have a couple enemies spawning outside of the boundaries of the fight in the final battle. It's kind of a physics placement issue there that got corrected. And down you go. We're creating an alternate path. And when I get to that in the quest, perhaps I can show it off here. Maybe even today, huh? The jumping puzzle can now be bypassed, if you can find it. It's a secret door thing, I think. And down you go. The waterfall in the pillar room now stays off, if you go out and then return. In the hijacked hall, we're moving a locked chest. That's the underwater chest that wasn't able to be very well unlocked by Frogo. Under the cover of darkness, we've corrected a string table error. Saltmarsh Training Hall is now open for business. We had to move the NPCs in the Saltmarsh public area into a building. They weren't... a technical issue actually arose that we knew about, but thought it wouldn't happen or wouldn't work in this scenario, but it did. So basically what's going on is the class trainer NPCs can't really be in a wilderness landscape that has like... set up for wilderness slayers, explorers, that kind of thing. And so we had to yeet them into their own little zone there. So now there's a Saltmarsh Training Hall, and the quest arc now awards treasure the appropriate level. You guys and gals were aware when you were finishing up, it was like flashing this weird reward list thing. We should have fixed that. We've increased the number of pack ingredients, dropping in chests in Fiorlan Carnival, Sansamek Terran, Sentinels of Stormreach, Chronoscope, Red Fens, Vault of Night, and Web of Chaos. Some optional chests will still continue to be able to drop these ingredients. We have not made any changes to drop locations. The end chests will remain the primary source for these ingredients. So don't expect that all these optional chests are supposed to be dropping them. There may still be a few where you can get them. But it is supposed to be basically the end chests, although not enough that we're going through to worry about the optionals at this point. Epic Devil Assault will drop fractured slivers of time at levels lower than other quests, just being because of the time to acquire ratio on that particular one. And spells, several changes made to specific alchemist spells. This has to do not with the spell effect, but the spell visuals in order to alleviate performance pressure on the game client. Some of the particle effects on the alchemist spells were proving problematic, so we've toned those back just a little bit. I do read Facebook live chat. As a matter of fact, I'm at that point right now because I'm going to head in game in just a little bit. But let me go through chat. This seems like a good time to do it. Any chance we can get crystallized spider webs to drop at a decent rate? Well, we can look into increasing that if we need to. Sounds like maybe today's change didn't address that. If we have someone actually handling marketing now, just to be clear about that, we have had a marketing person. We're a small team here. I am part of the marketing department, and so is Tolero. We have had, in the relatively recent past, a couple other people. We had, I'm trying to remember the names, the public-facing names. SSG Red Panda, and, several other people who have been in the marketing department of recent note. But in the last couple of months, it's been mostly Tolero and me. And so we have someone who is now in a newly created position, sort of a different, slightly different position than the one that had existed previously. And that person is moving up and getting rolled into it, and will be introduced, I believe, to the public in the near future. It's a name I think you'll probably be familiar with for many DDO and Lotro players. So, but we could talk more about that perhaps in the future. But I would just say, though, that it's not that we didn't have a marketing person. It's just that we have recently been able to... we've recently done some changes in terms of sort of job titles and responsibilities and all that kind of thing. And this is really a reflection of that. Someone also wants a Reaper XP boost. That's probably a pretty good one, too. We should probably do that. We are not, as Cody asks on Facebook, we are not currently accepting internships. At the very least, now we've never been super... We've had a few. We've had a few. But we've never had a lot of internship opportunities, but we have had a few, and there has been thought about doing something in the future. I don't know if it would be DDO related or perhaps more art or engineering or something else, but there has been talk about perhaps looking into that at some point here in the future. However, it's probably not going to happen while we're all still largely working from home. So at the very least, it'll be quite some time, I think, before there would be any internship opportunities at Standing Stone Games. You're both relieved and annoyed that Down You Go is getting an alternative to the platforming section. This is someone over on YouTube. I understand what you're saying. I kind of felt the same way when I saw that change. I myself was like, hey, even I can get this one done. So, but at the same time, I don't expect... it's one of those jumping puzzles that someone had to be able to do it successfully. And if no one in your group, or if you're running solo and it was yourself, really struggled in that section. It was just kind of a bummer experience. So I think ultimately that's why we're putting in this alternate path. All right, let me head over to Twitch chat real quick. Yay for the Saltmarsh soundtrack. Yes, thank you. We do have the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh soundtrack. 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 I couldn't quite do it. Sinister soundtrack of Saltmarsh is now available as a YouTube playlist. So there you go. Someone grumped at that puzzle. Nice. How is it decided which wilderness areas drop collectibles or have collectibles in them? Craig, what do you mean by collectibles? Do you mean by collectibles as in like the fungus, the cabinets, the things like that? In general, I don't think they drop with a lot of... Well, I don't know. Honestly, the answer to that. But if that's what you're asking about, yeah, I'll have to look into kind of what determines why they're placed in some wildernesses but not others. That's a good question. Perhaps I can get that one answered in the future. But yeah, see, my gut reaction was I didn't think we had a lot of collectibles in wilderness areas. But then I was also like, but wait a second. Yeah, there's a few. So I don't know. I don't know. Anyone from DDO going to PAX West? No. Not that I'm aware of. Somebody... Congo in Twitch chat, is there anything preventing the release of Otto's boxes in the store? No. Nope, we probably will be bringing them back, presumably at some point here in the relatively near future. It has been ages since we saw them last time. I would need to look, but I thought we had done them earlier this summer. We're ignoring boxes questions here. I don't think I am. Almost every week, there are auto threads on forums and devs ignore them. I have not seen bring back Otto's boxes in the store threads every week on the forums that we're ignoring. But ultimately, you know, we do see those requests for Otto's boxes, and they tend to get released on the cadence that makes the most sense for the business. Ultimately, that is a decision that, you know, when I do see those threads, I poke, you know, the folks over at e-commerce. I'm like, hey, got some people asking for it. But I would need to look when the last time we had it on. I think perhaps maybe you're a little mistaken on that. I think they were released not that long ago, and they'll surely be released in the near future. I apologize that we've not been able to release them at the cadence you'd prefer. Are we aware there's an issue with the Gem of Many Facets? Yes. Arturium. I did answer the question about the release note change to Alchemist spells. This is a visual change, not an effect change. When can we have another Mimic event? Well, if I recall correctly, the Mimic event was released once in the past around Halloween, so perhaps we could do something around Night Revels this year if there's interest in doing that. When will we see another U51 preview for the caster classes? Preview for the caster classes. The near-term plan will be to bring our Epic Destiny preview to Lamania in the relatively near future. Update 51's big tentpole work is the Epic Destiny changes, and so we'll be doing a huge amount of previewing of the Epic Destiny changes here in the pretty near future. As I said, a draft of the Epic Destiny changes in their totality reached the Players' Council this week, and so we're making progress toward getting that up onto Lamania in a public preview. We're also thinking about some ways we can handle these previews and perhaps see if we can do something a little bit different. One of the things we've been exploring is the possibility of creating, maybe not for this one, but maybe for this one, like some kind of special content creator preview where we would be able to have some of the content creators visit us on a version of Lamania that would really be propped and opened for this preview. And then have some of the developers, for example, be able to sit down with some of these people. And we could even probably include folks like wiki folks in that to this too, right? And give people an opportunity to really go through some of the complexities of the Epic Destiny changes in that. And that the goal wouldn't so much be feedback there as to assist in people's understanding of the Epic Destiny changes and be there for the content creators who are often getting a lot of questions in their chat rooms to be able to speak somewhat more authoritatively on them, although they already do a great job in that regard. I mean, most of them are super up-to-date as to what's going on, right? So it's not that it's been a problem, it's that, hey, maybe we could actually help out a little bit here. And at the same time, help, get this information out in the best way possible. So that's something we're looking at here in the relatively, maybe for this thing, maybe for something else. We don't know. I don't know yet. It's still a little bit early, but progress is being made, and that is ultimately the next big, public I guess you could say public release is going to be the preview of the Epic Destiny changes along with other things that are happening in Update 51. So. Alright, I think, let me go do one more swing through chat. I don't know how rare of a drop the nebula fragment is supposed to be. My understanding is that it is supposed to be pretty rare. People are saying it's been before the hardcore season, so there we go. Yeah, I guess March-ish, something like that. Well, I can bring that to, in terms of when we last released the Autos box, so I will bring that to e-commerce. We'll see. I mean, I'm sure we've got, it's August, and, we've got a lot of opportunities for sales here in the relatively near future, so... So yes, I would expect at least one more preview on Lamania of the Epic Destiny changes, perhaps even more than one. Is Update 51 the last planned update for the year? No. Some conversations are happening right now related to that, actually, in terms of what's going to fall into what bucket, as it were. But, here we go, let me swap monitors here real quick just so I can see what's going on in game. But we are still planning to have both Update 51 and our regular December update. You know, typically our cadence has been along the lines of a fall update, some Night Revels work, maybe a patch or two before Black Friday, and then we usually do some kind of smaller but still substantive update in December. Now, there have been times in the relatively recent past, like what, Feywild, where it was a big content update, but historically, our end-of-the-year update has been a little bit smaller in scope, as we then are often rolling already into work ahead of next year and what have you. So I do think that there will be at least two substantive updates of note There'll be update 51 and a likely December update of some kind here. In addition to, like I said, Night Revels and some of the other kind of expected updates that we historically see this time of the year. I'm moving my window a little bit closer. There we go. That looks a little bit better. So I've been running a bunch of Saltmarsh stuff. I did it on Epic here, and I've done it on Heroic, and I've been having a good time with it. So there we go. Last week it was embarrassing. I ended up getting raffle stomped by that rat in the bilge of Under the Cover of Darkness. Afterwards, though, let me say this afterwards. I actually had some people kind of write me and say, hey, that rat, don't feel too bad. That rat raffle stomps everybody. I don't know that that's actually true, because we clearly have people who are, you know, soloing raids at R10 and what have you. I don't think they're getting raffle stomped by rats, but I'm getting raffle stomped by rats, and apparently I'm not the only one. There's a bunch of you out there. So much so that I bet we actually need to take a look at that infected rat there. But hopefully I'm not going to do that this week. Hopefully that won't happen this week. This week is going to be all about top-tier gameplay. I mean, the tier might be the Amateur League, but it'll still be top tier. No, it won't. What am I even... I don't know what I'm going to run. I think I'm going to run the first quest I run into. Let me take a look at the map here real quick. Kind of see... I could do just Saltmarsh itself, but I think I want to do... I don't think I've done this one on stream yet, and I definitely don't think I've done... Actually, you know what? Let's do this Haugen Fortress. We'll do that one. We'll go to the end there and do that one. You'll notice I did manage to get all the explorers here. I'm at 21 of 21 explorers discovered. It wasn't too bad. It took me about maybe an hour to kind of bop around and find them all. I will admit, the very last one, I was like, what am I just not seeing here? So I used the wiki. The wiki. The wiki's great. It's got all those points on a map, if you want to use it. But I didn't need it, except for the very last one. I can't remember which one that was now. But I was like sitting there at 20, and I was like, oh, God, I could have sworn I've just looked at everything. And there was one thing that I just kind of missed. I need 3 monitors again. I need to get another monitor. I can't have chat and XSplit up at the same time. Speaking about streamers and questions, you had one about passes and not being able to find them in the store. Any comment for the future? If you own the content, you should be able to see the related guest pass for that content, assuming it has been released in the store. Yeah, so Craig, I would imagine, you know, that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Maybe just a day or two early, bringing in let's say 20 to 30 content creators, wiki folks, you know, whoever really gets into that stuff, right? For the most part. And doing like a special content preview where we'd have an hour, let's just say an hour and a half, where you'd bop onto Lamania and we'd be sitting there in the test dojo or whatever made sense. And just sit around and be able to sort of have a Discord open, probably, something like that. And just sort of be there for people to maybe grab a little footage ahead of the opening of Lamania the next day or day after. And then also just get a chance to ask questions about that, the kind of questions that they would get on stream, so that when they see that stuff on stream, they'd be able to have a pretty good answer for it right off the bat. So, do I want to do Epic Elite? Do I want to do Epic Elite? Yes. I have not heard of plans to do legendary sands items.
Shakes down to its foundations.
I'm going to leave the forum comment on that to be the last word. And my understanding is that the last word on that is that we are not really doing that. But if I'm incorrect, perhaps just let me know. I think when we would do that would be at some nebulous point in the future, some point where it would make sense to do that. But that is not sort of an intentional plan that we're doing. Oh, let me say this about this character before we kind of roll off on my character for now. I'm a little stuck on my gear. You remember last week's show I sort of went through my gear and I swapped out a few things? Well, I brought it back. I swapped it back right after the show to my standard gear that I was using because I wanted to bring on this legendary crown of fireflies, and none of it was really making a lot of sense for me to swap my artifact away from the Prince's Gauntlet. And I just didn't have the gear. I just don't yet have the gear to be able to gear Tetris my way out of my current situation, which overall I'm pretty happy with, right? But it could still be better. So all that work, I didn't do a lot of work on the show, but, you know, I showed off a bunch of stuff on the show, and about my gear and kind of some things that I wanted to try to do, and as soon as the show was done, I was just like, you know what? I'm going back. And I just swapped all that stuff back to where I was. So, I don't know. I'm still a little stuck. There's a couple of pieces that I can still figure out, because there are some spaces that I can, like, I'm just doing this for the charisma bonus right now, but if I'm not going to worry about turning anymore, I can get rid of I can swap necklace out with something else. And then my, cloak, where am I getting my wisdom from? Maybe that is my wisdom. Maybe I was getting the wisdom on the, minor artifact at 14, which is why I was doing that. But now that that's back, that needs to stay the wisdom slot. I'm a cleric. I need wisdom.
Armed
Go
Sahuagin
figure.
surround an alarm gong at the upper entrance to the fortress.
Anyway, so I'm kind of I feel a little stuck right now. I'm trying to work out my, I need to give myself a little bit better healing here. No, no! Lucky. Not got a Sahagin maybe. Alright. Alright. Let me yes, don't talk and fight, right. Well, it's not that I would say that it's not that I don't have good gear. It's that I feel a little stuck and there's a few pieces I want to tweak. So I guess let me just take a moment as long as I'm talking about it. And this is going to be the last time I run this character for a little while on stream. Let me look at and show you where I am in my current state of things. So obviously my hit points are low, but I do have on Con 14. You know, it's nothing. It's just base 14, I've got a +8 tome, and a +22 from items and effects. So, you know, that's what it is as a cleric. There are some things I can do in terms of itemization, you know, to add another couple hundred hit points. And that's something I would like to do. But where do I currently sit? I currently do have the Legendary Crown of Fireflies. This is for the healing lore, the devotion. Insightful resistance doesn't hurt. And, fairly importantly, the magical sheltering as well. I do have the Storm's Bulwark as my augment slot on this one. And this one also helps get me the 3-piece Eminence of Summer, which gives me plus 30 MRR, which has been important. You know, one of the things I was working to do on this character is bring up my MRR a little bit. And then also gives me a little bit extra fortification bypass. It's not a big concern on this character, but it doesn't hurt to have a little bit above that as well. So overall, that's why I've got the Legendary Crown of Fireflies. It also, because people have asked, that's why I got these little lights going around my head. It puts that effect on your character there. Alright, so, but ultimately for stats, I mean, that's pretty important to have, all that stuff. We did just discuss that I could swap necklaces. This gives me the Charisma 13 that I was using as part of my turning set. I may actually even have something that I can update here. Yeah, see, I had Charisma 10 on there from the Stolen Necklace. That gave me a little bit more spell points, but I bumped it up to 13 here relatively recently. And the Trinket slot is the Legendary Cursebane focus. This is where I've got my Diamond of Festive Wisdom plus 2, Spell Saves plus 10, Magical Sheltering 33, Insightful Will, and Curse Resistance. The Insightful Will and Curse Resistance, I'd say, are the ones that are the whatevers. I mean, it's nice, but whatever. The main reason is the Magical Sheltering, the Spell Saves, and then that Festival Wisdom slot as well. Over on the Cloak, I've got the Legendary Silver Thread Cloak. That's level 29. Actually, guess what? Now that I see it, I've got Festive Wisdom there, too, because this has been Gear Tetrised around. So I can actually swap that out, too. Right now, this is my least useful. It's what's getting me my fortification, I think, because I'm getting fortification there. So yeah, my Cloak is definitely the thing that I can get rid of. The only reason I still have it is because of that physical sheltering. So, Legendary Plane Shard Belt is giving me my, nothing right now either. So that's another slot. It looks like these two in particular can get swapped out. The Legendary Ring of Summer's Heat is where I was getting my Radiance lore and Radiance when I had this. Oh yeah, that's where my Radiance lore is coming from. And that also is really important because of my light-based attacks. Fire doesn't hurt either, especially when I'm doing Firestorm. But for the most part, it's kind of a nice to have. The Radiance lore and the Radiance is why I've got that. And again, it's part of how I'm getting that Eminence of Summer. For the minor artifact, I've got the Prince's Gauntlet. This is what's getting me my Constitution. Doesn't hurt to get the 58 bonus to Healing Amp from this. Gives me a little quality resistance and quality sheltering. And then is the third piece of the Eminence of Summer set. I've got the Flightfoot Greaves on my feet. This is speed. Natural armor bonus. Reflex doesn't hurt. Freedom of movement doesn't hurt. On the finger, I've got the Legendary Death Warden. This is my death block. This was where I was getting my healing lore 21%. At the moment, it isn't getting me very much, other than part of my Adherent of the Mist legendary set as well. As you can see, I've got 5 pieces equipped. That gives me a little bonus to melee, ranged, universal spell power, healing amp, and PRR. So overall, it's providing me something, but in its specificity, at this point, it could probably be swapped out with something else, although death block, right? This is, my wrist is where I've just got my current strength item. I'm also getting my Insightful Con from that. And then I think I've got quality physical sheltering on something else as well, so I'll have to kind of suss that one out. But if not, that's where I'm getting some of that. And then on my armor is where I'm getting my fortification, parry, Insightful Wisdom. Actually, there we go, Insightful Con. Oh, I was 6. So I've got to double up on Insightful Con as well, but whatever. And then my eye slot is the Legendary Precision Lenses. That's for the Insightful Strength. That was for the Melee Alacrity 15% before I got the Legendary Flightfoot Greaves. And I had something else slotted in there. But whatever, it doesn't hurt. I'm still keeping this on because of the Insightful Strength, the Action Boost bonus, and the Manslayer. So that's the... Oh, and I've got my sapphire resistance there too. But I think I'm getting resistance bonus elsewhere. And so, I mean, that's the current state of it. You know, it's not, you know, like I said, I'm not soloing Reaper 10 here. But I don't think it's exactly the worst thing in the world either, so. But I'm kind of, you know, it looks like what I'm going to have to do is really start looking through the item slots, find something that I can use for a cloak and a belt to better utilize those slots, and then go and do that. So anyway, that's, I guess, the short-term plan here. But that's where I'm at. What? Oh. Nice. I just had to ring the bell. That was very good of me. That was smart. SMRT. Smart. And where did I see that? There we go. Over on this side. The belt is making everything hate me. That's true. That's true. That's true. It is not helping there, is it? So, maybe that is the immediate goal then, is to get that belt out. You know, I bet I actually have something. But the thing is, I was looking just the other day, you know, with this past week, I've been kind of looking into it and such. And I haven't found the thing. I haven't found really anything that helps solve it. I had that other minor artifact, and I was like, well, I want that minor artifact. And so I gear Tetris'd around for a while, but every time I'd lose one of the things that I wanted most, and so I just kind of ended up falling back on where I am. But I'll have to look through those slots and just kind of see what I can do. The item repairer on the airship does not repair epic items? That is a weird one. I will have to ask. Hey, Froggo doesn't hate me. Johnny over on Twitch. I hope not anyway. People are saying it's a bad showing, huh? Is it really that bad? Is my gear really that bad? Doesn't seem good. Got a little redundancy, but, you know, whatever. I don't feel like my gear is that bad. I don't know. But I'm not putting myself up as like some kind of Uber gear lord either. It's not that bad. Come on, man. Don't insult my gear. Just nod and smile and say, oh yeah, you're doing great. I have not announced the weekend bonus. I'm going to have to consult with someone afterwards. See what we're doing there. So some of the content release plans for Update 51, I think, are in flux. I think there may be something that we could... I think we might be moving some of the content to the December update, and do something a little extra special with it as well. But, so I don't know that the Update 51 plan, as currently stated, remains 100% accurate. But I'm also not in a position to really tell you what it's going to be yet, because, like I say, some of those conversations are currently happening, so... hang on. As soon as I know more, I'll let you know. But I can tell you, the main thrust of Update 51, the biggest bit of Update 51, is the Epic Destiny update. That's a huge systems update. I mean, just a massive systems update, right? And so, I would say probably the biggest bullet point of Update 51 is actually going to be the Epic Destiny update. So, you know, I'm not sure if that means that we're going to be a little more ambitious in December or what, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll have more news, I think, in the near future. Okay. Back to where I was. Did I actually clear out this other side? No, I've not yet. I don't have a formal release date to give you for Update 51, but someone is saying in chat, any idea about it? Is September realistic, so to speak? Yeah, I'd say September is a realistic about for Update 51. Someone is saying over YouTube, let the min-maxers hate. Well, you know, I'm always down for having better gear, right? It just, you know, it is what it is to some extent. Also, remember, yeah, I'm the cleric of the group, man. I keep people alive. Although I do also, as you can see, I try to be fairly utilitarian, and I'm often playing this character on stream. Although, like I said, also, I'm going to be swapping away from this character for a while, because I've been playing this character on stream for kind of a long time now, maybe too long. As some have pointed out, they're like, you know, you've been playing that character for like a year now, maybe you should play someone else. I'm kind of sick of staring at your cleric. They're not wrong, so, yeah, I think we're going to do that. I was all ready to go to Wayfinder today, and then I realized that... Then I realized that, one, character's level 28. And if I'm going to be trying to run this stuff on Legendary Elite, which is what my plan was to do, then my level 28 character is just going to get... You know, it's going to be in a tougher position of survivability than this one here, for one. And that would mean that I'd need to roll it probably down to Epic Hard or something, but then, I don't know. And then the final nail in that coffin was that just, I didn't have any, like, I noticed I still hadn't reclaimed even the Feywild X-Pack bundle on that one yet, so clearly I've got some just kind of itemization and catch-up work to do on that character before I put him in front of the camera. And then I swapped over to Sarlona, and I was like, well, I'll play Beanie then. And then I was like, well, wait, some of my numbers are off. And then I was looking, and I was like, oh, it's because a while back all of the Twist of Fate points got reset, and I never updated from that. So that's sort of kind of why I ran back one last week here to this character.
Construction tools nearby and new tile on the walls show that the Sahuagin are converting this old lizard folk fortress into their own military base.
And here's the other side. Okay. got. Okay. So, you know, a lot of times during the earlier part of the summer, my responsibilities as a parent tend to take priority over my free time. So a lot of times my time gets really tight in the summer, and I don't have as much time to play anything, much less the games I'm working for, often in the first half of the summer or so. And that's fine. I love doing it. You know, obviously, the trade-off is immense, and so it's cool, right? But what it means is that sometimes in August, I've really got to just sit down and crack down and start playing a bunch of stuff so that my knowledge of the game and that it remains as good as I can make it, right? And so that's what I've been doing really here in recent weeks, is playing a bunch of both of our games to help me get up to speed on everything from names to quest givers, and just feeling comfortable in the quests here. And so it's been good. I've been getting the sagas done on Elite here a couple of times now on this character, and it's nice. It's nice. I'm digging it. Ooh, I'm not digging the fact that I don't have enough spell points. What was I thinking? Honestly, at JCOM2, I don't know that you need to rewatch the show if you're just joining now. Have I really said anything relevant? A little bit of a down week. I don't know that I've actually said a whole lot that's all that particularly relevant here. Use that.
You hear the clang of hammers and the scrape of shovels nearby.
On my gear, I have too much overlap. You're right. I mean, you're right. And some of that is like I said, I've been playing Gear Tetris recently, trying to sort some things out. And so I left myself in a state where I'm not 100% where I want to be. But I need to take it all off and restart. You know, maybe you're right, Tough. Maybe you are right. I thought about that. I was like, what if I just strip my character naked and then just start building it back up piece by piece? But what I thought is that largely, but then I still get into the same basic boat, which is that about the only thing I really want to change is I can get rid of this because I don't need my charisma bonus. I've got too much overlap on my cloak, and I'm not really getting anything from my belt slot. Other than that, each one's got enough unique bonuses in that. Oh, and I can get a few more augments. But I'm not sure that the augments are going to do me a whole lot of good either, so.
You search the area carefully and find a lever tucked away between some crates.
Reminds me, I mean to look into that chest. That chest seems to only drop one item, and I don't know if that's supposed to or not. Oop. I already... I think that's just redundant. Yeah. Okay. Let me pop into that room and pick up the thing.
Chains on the wall indicate that this room is used to house slaves. At first you think there's no one here, but then you hear the wheeze of labored breathing. A lone figure lies curled up in the far corner. There's nothing you can do. Despite your best efforts, the exhausted slave dies. His last words asking about his comrades and the fate of his journal.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there are a fair number of chests in this quest, so maybe it's some kind of deliberate thing, but it does strike me as a little bit odd as well, so I don't know. Ah, who narrates this? I can tell you. Give me a second. And this I've already gone through for the most part. Oh, no, I've got this back corner to do yet. Okay, let me actually make sure I don't mangle the names and I get them correct. So let me look something up real quick. Okay, Deborah Wilson, and is the female voice narrator, the dungeon master in Saltmarsh, and Arthur Romeo is the male voice actor for the dungeon master of Saltmarsh. And Deborah Wilson is got an extensive voiceover career, but may also be known by a few of people who have been around a little while. Us 90s kids, only 90s kids will understand that perhaps you may remember Deborah Wilson from Mad TV. Yeah, it's that one. That Deborah Wilson. And that's cool. So, famous comedian and also extensive voice actor. And when I found out that they were doing voice work for Saltmarsh, I was like, what? Really? Sweet. You kidding me? That's awesome. So,
At first,
so there you go.
I think you found him more. And you realize you found something worse.
And Arthur Romeo also has some extensive voice acting work. Is not someone that I had previously been familiar with, but you know, obviously we've had a lot of comments about the voice acting in Saltmarsh here, and I agree, it's been great. And so it's nice to be able to give him a shout out and introduce a couple of new voices to the DDO community. This is the first time I believe either of them have done voice work with us.
Smells like it's the place where the Sahuagin spurns of their garbage.
What? Oh, it's because I'm nauseated? Is that really it? Okay. You can actually see kind of current pictures of both of these voice actors and that on like their IMDb profiles and what have you. So if you want to see the face behind the voice, as I know a lot of us are always curious about, you can do so. Yeah, that nauseation is kind of nauseating. Is it not? Maybe I should back... Well, what if I set these folks to attack, except for the one who's dead already? Poor Frogo. Make sure I've got my AoE healing happening. Gonna need as much of that as I can get, apparently. So I keep getting nauseated. Perhaps I should switch to my thrown weapon, but I kind of feel like I should still... Well, gosh, that's so much damage. Alright, let's see what I can do here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, you keep doing that there. Nope, nope. Oh no. My assistance is not doing so well. Maybe I should make sure I can bring one of them up. Go you. And to low animated, I will pop you with those, and then Frogo, you can come back too. Alright, yeah, I think I am gonna have to... Ah! Storm Rage. Yeah. I forgot about my Storm Rage! It's nauseated as, ooh! Uh-oh. Uh-oh! Darn it. I don't have a Gibbers on this character, so I'm just gonna do the cheap route for the stream. I happen to, at the moment, have 2 unyielding sovereignty-like effects. Just kind of nice. Oh. Sure, got my Holy Sword active. Uh-oh. I think I got you. Yeah! Alright. That was maybe a little tougher than I expected. Oh, what do we got for time? Oh, we're already at 107 here. Okay, I've got to get going here. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining me on the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I will see you next Wednesday with more. Thanks very much for watching, and hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.